All right, now we're recording. Matt,
Cool.
good to have you back, man.
Yeah. Glad to be back. Like
Well,
your
look,
podcast.
I appreciate it.
I
I'm
did.
glad. I've had a handful of people comment or message me saying that they've been listening and that they're enjoying it, and
Yeah.
that makes me happy. Like I when I started doing this, I wasn't sure if anyone would want to listen or care to listen, but
Yeah.
I don't know I know what the analytical numbers are because I can look at them. Like how many listens we get on Spotify, how many listens we get on YouTube.
Yeah.
So there are some people out there listening, and it's
Cool.
cool. It's cool to know. I mean, hopefully people can learn from it. I've been
Yeah.
learning a lot just by talking to different people. So
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to the podcast with the epoxy guy from KC. And
mhm.
then yesterday I was listening to the one from South Carolina.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Andy from South Carolina, he's actually coming back on in a couple of weeks.
oh, okay.
As soon as we got off, like he messaged me and he's like, "Man, I feel like we got more to talk about." And I was like, "Yeah, me too. Let's do it again." So he,
Yeah.
like literally, as soon as we got off the phone, he booked the next day or the next podcast with me. I'm looking forward to speaking with him too again.
Yeah.
And John from KC, yeah, he's a cool dude. Like I told you yesterday on the phone, he's got a pretty nice setup up there. He's invited me to come up and bring the family and you
Yeah.
know maybe possibly even put me to work a little bit while I'm up there. So I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
Actually, these podcasts are good for even though we may not be in their field, but to listen to them, to hear their struggles and stuff, even though they might be different than what we do,
Hmm.
we can still learn from what they talk about.
Well, it's a related like it's all floor work
Hmm.
and they're similar in different ways. I got one coming out. I haven't released it yet. I still have to go through and edit it. And I got really caught up while I was on vacation, but not all the way caught up. I still have one more that's not been edited and released yet. But he's out in Carson City, Nevada, and he's a flooring installer. So he
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
he doesn't strip and wax. He
Yeah.
doesn't epoxy. He doesn't polish. He installs floors like carpets, VCTs, LVP. That's what he does. And that was the first time speaking with an installer. And getting his perspective as well. He says he's laid thousands of square foot of VCT in his life, thousands and thousands of square foot of VCT. Never once laid a mop on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
interesting to get that perspective because
Yeah.
I mean I've replaced some VCT. I'm sure you have too, just
Yeah.
one or two here and there, but I
Hmm.
couldn't imagine doing 5,000 square foot, 10,000 square foot, 30,000 square foot. Uh-uh.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's pretty simple.
I mean, I think it is, but my
I,
knees and back are like,
yeah,
no, I don't care
exactly.
my knees and back are like, I don't care how simple it is. I'm not doing it. So,
My cousin's actually a tile layer,
oh, is he?
and he mostly does ceramic, but he can do
Mhm.
VCT too.
Yeah.
And I tease them all the time. I was like, "You work on your hands and knees. I work on my feet."
Hmm.
I was like, "I do all my stuff standing up. You have to crawl around on the floor."
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I got a job coming up Thursday, so today's Tuesday, so in 2 days it's a patio and it's an epoxy job, but his patio is fully enclosed and I don't like and it's small, like I don't remember the exact square footage. I want to say like 200 square foot, something like that. It's real small. But I don't want to drag my grinder through his house
oh
to get to his back porch. And I
yeah,
also don't want to like it's in a really nice subdivision. So whereas grass is like really nice and I don't want to drag a 400-pound grinder across his grass.
yeah,
So I've made the decision to go ahead and just use my hand grinder on the whole thing, which is it's a 8 or 9 inch hand grinder.
oh
It won't
wow,
take that long, and it's not bad. It's not. It's actually. I'm not grinding off any like sealer or anything. It's just
yeah,
bare concrete. I'm basically just kind of knocking everything loose.
yeah,
But still, I've already thinking to myself, oh, I'm not looking forward to it. 'Cause my back's not gonna. Last time I really hurt my back was by running my hand grinder because it's
yeah,
heavy. It's
uh-huh.
heavy and it's a torque monster. You turn that thing on and it wants to jerk out of your hands like a machine
Okay,
gun.
okay.
So
Well, do you want to blow the epoxy guys' minds? they're probably going to kill me for making this comment. You could
Sure.
always acid etch
Oh, you could. I could do that, and well, I'll be honest with you, man. There's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that I could do that would impress an epoxy guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't know. Did I? So I released a full video of me and my son doing an epoxy garage about 3 months ago, 2 months
Mhm.
ago.
Yeah.
I did it like I did anything else, start to finish. I don't go into extreme detail. It's just a quick overview of what we did. We
Hmm.
grind the floor, we vacuum the floor, we fill the cracks, we hit the edge, we grind again, we vacuum the floor, and then we mix the epoxy, pour the epoxy, spread the epoxy, smooth it out, back roll it, throw the flakes on it, let it dry, come back the next day, clean it off again, and then put a clear coat down.
Yeah.
Simple. I posted it the same places I post everything else, the same groups, you know, everything. And the epoxy guys roasted me to no end. They were so, what's the word? They were so critical about
Really?
everything I did to the point where I told my wife, I said, I'm like, next time I do one, I'm not going to release a full video like that. I'll do sometime, I will make a video
Yeah.
of it, but I'm not going to show them my full process because they, they ate me up and spat me out. Most of
What'd
it
you
was
do
on like,
wrong?
well, just like, yeah, it's just technique.
Yeah.
It's just technique for the most part. There was a few things where there was a few guys that were like, hey, I see that you're doing this. You might try this instead. Now that I got, and I'm cool with,
Yeah.
and I applied it to the next garage I did, and it did help out a lot.
Yeah.
So there is that. But the guys that were just, roasting you just to do it was mostly just guys that are roasting technique. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, guys, you look at my equipment. My equipment is, you know, entry level equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a seasoned guy at this. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. Like look at my equipment and tell me that you think that I'm seasoned, like I'm
Yeah,
figuring it
exactly.
out. Give me some constructive criticism,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that would be helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, guys, like, look at me. I'm using shop vacs from. I'm not using a concrete vacuum. I'm using shop vacs from Home Depot.
Exactly.
And but yeah, they were just hypercritical and like, and there's in the epoxy and polishing world, there is an arrogance there. There is a huge arrogance there that I don't see in the VCT community.
Oh.
Like there is a little arrogance in the VCT community, like going into a store and taking a picture of a floor and be like, "All right, guys, you know, who didn't clean the edge?" You
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
which we all think that, but not everybody's arrogant enough to want to say that they've never cleaned it, that they've not skipped an edge before. Or these these epoxy guys, man, and these polishing guys, man, they're brutal and they'll roast you. So, so there is zero chance of me acid etching that patio and then making a video of it. Like
Yeah.
they would eat me up and spit me right back out again, buddy.
Yeah. I've roasted a couple people on VCT groups. Like probably 6 months ago, there was a person trying to do a old Rite Aid, and they had
Yep.
like 10 people in there with a shop vac and a 175 and a
Yep.
bunch of scrapers. And I roasted them going, why don't you have a propane stripper? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And the guy got so pissed off, he actually deleted his whole post on
Yeah.
that. And
Uh, that's the surprising thing to me. Like I didn't realize how many guys are out there, um, stripping, full size retail stores with a swing machine and
yeah,
shop vacs. Like, um, since I've been in the groups, I've seen it, and I saw there's this one guy, and he posts very regularly. He's like doing Marshalls or Ross's, Dress for Less, those type of stores.
hmm,
And you'll see him out there. He's got his swing machine and a couple shop vacs, and you
oh
know, yeah, yeah. He needs a tracker. He needs a sidewinder. He
yeah,
needs something. But more power to him because I ain't doing it.
yeah, yeah.
I know how much Ross's pays right now. I wouldn't strip a Ross with my equipment, let alone a side to side. Jesus, I don't even like.
Actually,
I don't even like. So I bring my side to side when I do these tire shops,
uh-huh.
which are all, you know, all of them are different, various sizes and shapes. I've never seen one more than I don't think I've seen one more than 2,000 square foot,
Yeah.
and the smallest ones are probably about 400 or 500 square foot. So, but I'll bring the side to side. But if I ever have to get it out, it irritates me. I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Uh,
Like I'm just plug in this cord and I'm
yeah.
passive aggressive about it. I'm yelling at my son. Why am I getting this out? Like, that's why I like that little
Oh, the weed eater?
the Ryobi little
Yeah.
power scrubber. Oh
Uh-huh.
man, I love that thing. Like, so
Yeah.
I made that video back in Cincinnati about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I couldn't get my tracker into that little spot, and I was like, I'm about to go get the side to side out. I'm like, you know what? I got the Ryobi. This is an area like if it doesn't come completely 100% clean, it's not a big deal. It's behind a counter. They're gonna put mats there anyways. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use that. And I thought people still ask me about that thing, so I'm just gonna make a video on it.
Hmm.
So I love that thing. That thing's the
Yeah.
best. If it was like if the head of it was probably 5 or 10 pounds heavier,
Oh, okay.
it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Which
I've got I've got two square scrub, not square scrubs, edgers.
yeah,
What are they called? Doodle scrubs.
the doodle scrubs.
Yeah, I got two of those. I got a electric one and I got a battery operated one.
Yeah.
And I don't get it out 100% of the time on strip jobs. But I use it sometimes, but
Well,
it splatters so bad.
I firmly believe, and it's hard to do if you're stripping off someone else's stuff. But
Hmm.
if, say, it's a floor that you've stripped before, and so I just a general method, strip the floor all the way down, make sure it's completely clean. I like most things 4 coats. That's what I do.
Yeah.
4 coats, most things. Sometimes three, sometimes five, but four is about average. On that edge, that 6 inches around each of those edges, I only put one, maybe 2 coats on, maybe two.
Exactly.
And then,
Exactly.
so next year when I come to strip it off, I don't even really have to clean the edge. The
No.
stripper itself does its job. So
Yeah.
running a doodle bug, I don't even own a doodle bug anymore. The last one I had broke, and that
Oh,
was like
really?
5 years ago, and I never
Yeah.
replaced it.
Yeah.
I do not have a doodle bug. I use that power scrubber or I use a scraper,
Hmm.
and that's what I use. And because I spent so many years doodle bugging edges because that's what I did for Dad for years,
Uh-huh.
years.
Yeah.
He's like pretend he gave me a doodle bug and he says pretend this is part of your arms now. You're just you now have doodle bug arms. I don't want to
Yeah.
see you without it. And so
Uh-huh.
for years that's all I did.
Oh, yeah.
30,000 square foot grocery stores, every edge.
I wonder how many literal feet you've done over the years. Probably millions of feet.
Probably,
Probably miles.
probably.
Probably 200 miles of edges.
That's all I did, man, for years. And we traveled all over the state of Georgia and Tennessee doing this chain of grocery stores.
Wow.
And then we also had a bunch of drug stores, which eventually
Yeah.
turned into Rite Aids, like you were just talking about.
Oh, okay.
And edges, man, edges and waxing were my two things.
Yeah.
So now I hate cleaning edges. I hate scrubbing on edges, and
I hate people that
I'm
wax.
an extremely proficient waxer. I can wax
Yeah.
very fast.
I hate people that waxes every coat up to the edge.
Oh,
It's
it
like,
drives me insane
because I've argued with people going, do you walk along the edge? No. Well, why do you need wax on the edge?
because they're
So,
lazy.
like at schools, whenever I'm doing a school, I do one coat. Usually the last coat is on the edge.
Hmm.
And then I run the propane buffer across it just to even everything out.
Yeah.
And they haven't caught me because I would start doing the first coat along the edge, and the second coat wouldn't blend into the first coat. And
Hmm.
you could actually, with the sun shining into a hallway or something, you could see the line going down there. So,
Gotcha. I do it the opposite. I generally do the first coat, I do full coverage. It's usually
mhm.
my heaviest coat,
Yeah,
full coverage. And then each coat after that, I do lighter and lighter and lighter. And then if I feel like the edge needs another coat, I always do it on the last coat on
yeah,
my way out the door. And I feel like it kind of blends in. But ultimately, I don't ever put more than 2 coats. Ever put more than 2 coats on the edge. I
yeah,
don't care what it is, where it is, what's going on. That's what it's getting.
yeah.
There are times like if I'm stripping someone else's nonsense off and say the edge is really heavy. and I'm just frustrated and decided, you know what, I'm done scraping this edge. Sometimes I'll just give up and be like, I'm not cleaning it, and then
Uh-huh.
I'll strip the rest of the floor, and then I don't even wax the edge. I just wax up to wherever's left over, and I might put a light coat over that to kind
Yeah.
of blend it all in because I'm like, I'm gonna strip it all off this one time. I'll get it next
Uh-huh.
time. I had
Yeah.
this Ace Hardware once where it took me when I took over the store. We would strip the floor the first time, and then then I would buff the floor every other week, and then a year later come back and strip it again. Pretty much strip it yearly, buff it every other week, and maybe at the 6 month mark I might come in and do a top scrub and maybe a light coat of wax. But from the first time I stripped that floor, it took us three three floor strips, so 3 years of stripping the floor to get all the old wax off the floor.
Wow.
Like it was,
I
and
mean,
it was white tile. It was old white tile, and the wax up along the edge was so old and embedded. It kind of went back to what you were talking about when we were talking yesterday. There was just old wax, and I
hmm
was thinking about it after we got off the phone. The older the wax is, the harder it is.
oh yeah.
The harder it gets. So when you're saying your tracker wouldn't even get traction, well, that makes sense, yeah, because it's old and it's hard. So anyhow, so this wax was up against the edge and it was green. So it was
No way.
green wax. I mean, I'm sure it was just a mixture of
Uh-huh.
someone stripping the floor, putting wax on, waxing too heavy against the edge, coming back the next year, putting stripper all over the place,
hmm
not stripping all that wax off, stripper mixing in with the wax,
Yeah. And
and then
discolored
wax,
in the wax.
and then not cleaning it off properly, then putting more wax, so it just gets darker and darker and darker till it was damn near green. And
Oh,
um, and yeah, it took us 3 strips to get all the wax off, and it was horrific. And
so
then
the
they and then the next year they remodeled the store and ripped up the tile and put new tile in as soon as we got it all cleaned up.
so how many applications did you do it every time on the stripper? Did you just lay one time and then strip it and then pick it up and then start laying wax?
The first time around, we spent a lot of time stripping the floor. We probably stripped. I don't want to say we stripped the whole store twice the first time around, but we
Yeah.
stripped a lot of it multiple times. But that was kind of, y- you know, I've been in it a long time, and I'm sure you're kind of like me, where you look at a floor and you can say, yeah, we'll strip it for you, but I mean, if you're hiring us, that means you want us to continuously do your floor. I'm gonna be honest with you, we're not gonna get it all 100% this first time. Like
hmm
it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, it's been neglected. They've done a poor job with it, and we'll get it next time. Every time we do it, it'll get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if you want to pay the premium to get it all done the first time, then sure. But we're going to be here twice the amount of time. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it was. But we got at first strip, I'd say we got 85% of it off,
Oh, okay.
which is I feel like it was acceptable.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the next 2 strips, we got a little bit more and a little bit more until it looked good. And I
Yeah.
hated that they replaced it. It was the old tile, like it was like tile from like the late '60s, and it wasn't asbestos,
Oh, really?
but it was just really good, high quality tile. And so when
Oh,
you
yeah.
looking good, man, it just popped a shine, and it would not stop shining. It was so good,
hmm Yeah.
but
There's
it is what
actually a
it is.
difference in tile
Yeah,
by the manufacturer
yeah.
because some places have the tile has big pores in it and it won't hold a shine as good as the stuff with tight pores in it. The tile with really tight pores, because that's like asbestos tile. It has really tight pores, so you
Hmm.
can really get a good shine out of it.
Hmm.
But stuff that has large pores in it, it really takes a lot of wax to fill all that in to make
Yeah.
it shine.
You come into it where like places are replacing their tiles. They'll have like a broke or chip tile, and they'll replace it, and the replaced tile. I always tell people like if you can live with a broken or chipped tile, like that's almost better than replacing it because that new tile is going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Oh yeah.
It will literally take years for that tile to have the same type of sheen that
Mhm.
your original tile does. I have a
Yeah.
store. I've been doing it. Well, you've probably heard me talk about it. I've been doing it 21 years.
Yeah.
Still do it. I'll be there tonight. I was there last night. I'll be there tonight. Uh, and they remodeled their store, I guess 3 years ago, right after COVID. So 3 or 4 years ago. They moved some aisles and they had me come in and strip underneath where the aisles were. And I got it pretty darn clean. But it
Hmm.
was still yellowed. You know how the rust stains and stuff kind of get in there, and it was still yellowed. And I told them, you know, give it. It's going to shine pretty good. It's going to look good. It's going to match. Yeah, but it's still yellow. But after a few years, it's going to brighten up again, and the stains will eventually kind of go away.
Yeah.
They didn't like that answer, so they just went ahead and replaced all the tiles after I'd already stripped the floor. Whatever.
That's frustrating.
I got paid regardless, but I thought it looked better. And to this day, you walk down this one aisle. Half the side of the aisle is the original tile, half the side's the replaced tile. And
Yeah.
this side just does not shine the
Yeah.
way this does. And like for the first couple of years, at least a year, maybe even 2 years, you couldn't run your buffer over the blend line between the two tiles because they didn't,
Oh,
you
because
know,
of the height,
because of
height
the height
difference.
difference. Yeah. Height
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Because they're like a couple millimeters different.
Yeah.
Because the new tile is a little bit taller than the old tile because the old tile had been stripped so many times it actually wore
Yep.
down a little bit.
Yep.
So,
That's exactly what it is. And,
yep.
but, no one listens
But
to us. There's no one listens to the guys that do the actual work. Like I got these stores, I've been doing them my whole freaking life. And we'll strip the floor and put wax down. And then we're supposed to be in the next night to scrub and buff the floor. Like it's part of the contract.
uh-huh.
Most stores are 5 days a week. So one of them is 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And they'll show up and they're like, "You can't run the scrubber on the floor." Why? We just had you just strip the floor. I'm like, have you have you used pallet jacks on the floor today? Yes. Did you drag a pallet of water on the floor today? Yes. Yeah, the scrubber ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
they fully believe that you can just run a scrubber out there and it's gonna strip off all the wax. And I'm like, you
Uh-huh.
guys, it's work getting the wax off the floor.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you can't just running a scrubber across it with some red pads ain't gonna hurt nothing.
No.
But these people like they like to think they know best.
Oh yeah.
They always know best.
Oh yeah. So when you've stripped a floor, how many times have you stripped a floor at one time, trying to get all the wax off the floor? What's your maximum number of
Oh, how many
uh
times have I? How many?
laid scrubbed, picked up, laid scrubbed, pick up, like shampooing your hair?
Um,
Because I did a
so from probably like just going and doing a store or a location,
yeah, or
probably
yeah.
two or three times.
Oh really?
But I used to do floor for Walmart too.
Uh-huh.
And in that instance, obviously you're not doing the whole thing. You're doing
No.
maybe
4 or 5
you,
aisles.
no. Grocery aisles, at most, you might get access to like two, maybe three a night if you're really lucky, just because they're trying to stock the shelves
Yeah.
too. Usually two aisles, but out in the middle of the general merchandise side of the store, you can usually rope off a big section out there and get it done. But I'd say probably 1,000 square foot a night, maybe
Oh
1,500, maybe
wow.
1,500 square foot. You're not getting a lot because
Yeah.
they're trying to work, and
Uh-huh.
what you're trying to do is hinder them from working, and they just want you
Yeah.
to get it. But their floor was bad, and there was lots of times where I could throw stripper down, run the machine across it, suck it up, and be like, I'm not even looking at bare tile yet. Not 1 square inch of bare tile. I guess we're putting some more stripper down.
Yeah.
And it was to the point where like I would put stripper down, run the machine over it, suck it up, and before the floor kind of would dry, before I wouldn't even put stripper back down, I'd just take scrapers and just start scraping the floor
Yeah.
with after I had sucked up the stripper because it's still kind of soft, I would take a scraper and scrape, and I would scrape it big piles, and then I'd go get a Walmart bag and scoop it up into a bag, and I would double bag it, and at the end of the night, I would have this big fat sack of just wax, and the
Wow.
store manager would be like, I had the tendency of just dropping it on his desk, just thunk,
Nice.
because he would be like, "Why is it taking so long?" Right here.
Yeah.
I'm stripping off years of wax,
Uh-huh.
years of wax. So
Because prob
that's probably the most I've ever had to strip off of a floor, and I don't even want to care to. But it took me I want to say 8 months to strip the entire store, start to finish.
wow.
Um,
Oh, the people before you was just doing scrub and recoat saying it was a strip, right?
that's exactly what they were doing. That's
Yeah.
exactly what, and they were doing heavy coats.
Yeah.
So I had a guy tell me that was one of the guys that had been stripping the floor there for a while, and he goes, you know, you know, if you put a heavy coat of wax down and put it real thick, it'll take 45 minutes to an hour to dry, and you can just stand there and do nothing. And I said, that's a terrible idea, right? It's a terrible idea.
Because
I would rather put six thin coats than
yeah.
one heavy coat. I
Uh-huh.
don't like heavy coats of
Yeah.
anything. Like I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
20.
or that there's that you'll strip an area, say it's a wide open area, and you go to strip it, and then you strip it all off, but you can clearly see where someone had started off like waxing really heavy, and
Uh-huh.
they started waxing their way back, and they ran out of wax at some point.
Yeah.
And then you clearly still have their wax marks and that you have to go scrape off. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
For us.
I never understood why anyone would want to do heavy coats of wax.
Yeah.
Full coverage, 100% heavy coats every time. Like I don't know if it's a lack of knowledge or lack of training or laziness or all three, but it seems to me like if you have to strip it off.
Yeah. Actually, I have a saying myself.
If you don't want to strip it off, don't put it down like that.
Yeah.
Put down what you want to strip off. Like that's
Yeah.
how I feel about it.
Yeah. I have a saying that I go by, live by,
Hmm.
going, your present self needs to be looking out for your future self.
Oh yeah. No, that's
Because if you start putting those heavy coats on, your future self's going to go through hell trying to get that shit back off.
yeah.
So,
Well, that kind of goes back to what I was telling you about, doing floors with my dad as a young teenager and young kid. I actually started stripping floors with him before I was even a teenager, but it was like the two main things he had me do was cleaning the edges and waxing.
uh-huh.
So I think that's where a lot of that because I'm like when I don't recall what age I was when I figured it out, but I'm like, if I don't put a lot of wax on this edge, I don't have a lot to clean next
Hmm.
time. And
Yeah.
that made my life a lot easier. And then by the time I had that figured out, he had some other young kid came along and
Yeah.
I started doing other stuff. But waxing was always the thing I did too. So
Yeah. Yeah. In 2017, we had three places I remember
mhm.
where it was loaded up with wax. The
Mhm.
first time was around New Year's Day. I think we were working at the American Legion. And every month they would wax their floor for like 10 years.
Oh
Every
man.
month they would wax their floor because they'd have receptions in there, scratch the floor up rather than buff it, have a buffer and buff the scratches out. They just lay another coat of wax on.
Yeah.
And we had the Aztec in there, and I think we spent 3 days on it trying to get all that wax off.
Yeah.
And then the next time was, I think in June, we did a school, and the principal the year before tried to strip the gym. And rather than do the gym in sections, he took the stripper, laid the whole gym, and then lost control of it. He was trying to strip it with a 175 and
Yeah.
with thick black pads, and he just lost control of it. And he had globs, no lie, I've argued with people because I've told this story before. People's like, no, that's not possible. He had globs of wax all over the floor.
Mm.
And to this day, I can't even still can't get the globs off the floor because they welded themselves to the tile.
Mm.
You can't scrape the crap up and there's nothing,
Did
and then dirt sticks to them and they're ugly. I'm like, to fix that, you're gonna have to retile. So
what did he mix the stripper semi properly?
I think so. I'm not
So,
sure.
so I showed up at a grocery store a few weeks ago. No, it was well, not a few weeks ago. It was like a year ago. And I've known this store manager almost my whole life. Like he's him and my dad are actually good friends. They hang out outside of work, and so
Yeah.
like this store was my dad's store. So like it's one of the ones I inherited from him. Everyone there, they even though I go in there and I've been doing it three years or so now, and they've known me forever, but I've just been doing it full time for about 3 years or so. They still look at me as Tommy's son because it's that was like he's like a mythical creature in that store. Like everybody there knows him, and but it would be like me, like him walking into my store that I've been doing 21 years. That's kind of the
Uh-huh.
difference. But anyhow, I walk in there one morning and they had moved a couple gondolas the day before. No, they had moved a couple of gondolas like a week before. And I hadn't seen the store manager, but I told the assistant manager, I was like, hey, like if you guys put in the work order, I'll clean where those gondolas were. Like, because they look bad and they clearly tried to run their scrubber over it. Nothing, obviously. They tried to
Yeah.
use their dull scrapers that they never use on anything else. They tried to use that, nothing. And I said, look, you just let Russell know. Russell's the store manager. I said, let Russell know. I can come in and strip it up. Not a problem. You guys are going to go worry about it. But you got to put in the work order so I can get paid for it because I'm not doing it for free.
Hmm.
Um, and she goes, okay, yeah, let him know. Literally, like the next day or the day after, I came in and Russell, the store manager, has the area kind of like not roped off, but he's got like a bunch of stack bases around it to keep people out. And he's over there with like a putty knife trying to scrape it up on a handle, on a long handle, you know, broom handle, trying to scrape it off, and nothing's happening. And he's got a box of stripper out there, and I'm looking at it, and I get to
I'm
looking
getting
at
the
what he's
lube.
doing. He'd take the box of stripper, and it's like the box with the bladder on the inside with the
Yeah. Uh-huh.
twist. You know what I'm talking about, Pro
Yeah.
Strip. That's what it was. It was Pro Strip, and he had taken it and poured it directly onto the tile, and didn't mix it with water or anything. So it was basically creating this lubricating mess.
Yeah.
And he's trying to do it with a putty knife.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
was like, this was like 7:30 in the morning, and I was like, Russell, man, I told Julia like I'll do it for you, and he goes, really? I go, yeah. I said, I can't do it now, like right now. But if you want, leave everything as it is. Leave everything. He was pouring sweat. So
Yeah.
he was wearing dress pants, dress shirt, tie, just
Yeah.
pouring sweat. So just leave it here. I'll clean up your mess, and then
Yeah.
I'll come
Just
back
put in a
tomorrow.
work order, dude.
I'll come. You put in the work order. I'll come back tomorrow night and do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And like he was happy as a clam, just walking off smiling because he didn't have to do it. And I'm like, but it, he was pouring just pure 100%
Yeah.
stripper right on the floor.
Well, how do you fix run, well, I call them run unders whenever they move a shelving unit. How do you fix that? Because I've got a trick myself.
Well,
I've got because here's my chain of thought on that. Because if you lay stripper on that,
mhm,
because like we were talking about yesterday, when you lay stripper, stripper runs everywhere to the lowest spot. It's kind of like herding cats.
yeah.
You can't herd cats, you can't herd stripper. So what I do, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not. I use just plain water because all that is that's under the shelf was under the shelf or is under the shelf is dehydrated stripper and wax. You lay water on it, get it rehydrated, then take a high pro pad, just grind the fuck out of it.
Mm. I
And I can actually I've done videos on it and I've used Aztec too on it.
so you've had good
And
results. I've never
between
tried that actually.
between a 175 and an Aztec, you can pretty well clean up. where a shelf was without causing collateral damage to the floor around it. So,
So I'll use this place as a for instance to what I did. So it was actually two gondolas side by side. They were about 10 to 12 foot long, 4 feet
yeah.
wide. Um, and they were what they were. They originally were supposed to be like wine aisles, and they ended up doing away with that particular setup. And those they had been there at least 10 years, at least. Um, and So what I did was I came in, and they don't want us. They only want us in there when they're open. Like the only time they want us in there when they're closed is if we're stripping the floor. So
Hmm.
even for a spot strip, they're they close, they're leaving. So you have to
Yeah.
do it while they're open. So I kind of created a barrier with buggies that way we can keep people out. But I got a big section, way bigger than I needed, and what I did was kind of square it off. And I mixed some stripper and I put it specifically only on those areas that I intended to strip. And I did only one at a time. I did one aisle, one section where the gondola was moved, and then I did the other section. And I scrape, take the
Uh-huh.
scraper and I scrape up all the heavy buildup and I scrape it into the middle.
Yeah.
And then I actually, because there was a lot of chunks of, there was like money stuck to the ground.
Uh-huh.
At
Yeah.
one point, there would have been magazines there, so there was a couple of magazines like stuck to the ground, and like and so I scraped all that up, and I went and got a bag, a
Yeah.
shopping bag, and scraped up all the stuff and put it into a shopping bag and threw it away.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
We
then I did the same thing on the other one, but they it still needed to really be stripped.
yeah.
But I didn't even bring a tracker in. I didn't bring a 175. I just used my scrubber. Actually, I used the store scrubber. It was because it gets more head pressure. And I put a light stripper mixture across both areas, ran the scrubber over it with high water and sucked it up. And then I mixed just a little bit of degreaser and I saturated the entire area that I blocked off and then ran the scrubber over that to like basically top scrub the whole area
Yeah.
and then rinsed it clean. And then I put two or three, I think I did two coats of wax in where the gondola sat. I did two coats exactly where they sat.
Yeah.
And then once those were dry, I did one coat across everything that I top scrubbed, and then it kind of
Okay.
tied it all together.
Yeah.
Took
Yeah.
me, I spent more time waiting for the wax to dry than anything else.
Oh, okay.
I was
Yeah.
probably hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Another thing too, we do use scrapers to
Hmm.
scrape up. Well, I think we start with scrapers. We lay it first and then start with scrapers and then hit it with the Aztec.
So
But
you guys staying pretty busy then?
yeah,
Well, it's summertime. You said you got a lunch, you got a few schools you take care of during the
yeah.
summer. That's nice.
I just talked to another school today. I guess they're just behind on scheduling stuff, and it's
Hmm.
just a small private school. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to get a hold of him for a week, and he finally answered his phone. I was like, "Hey, you want us to do your floor this summer?" It's like 8,000 square foot school. Yeah, I've been working with this school since like I'd say March. He called me. He's like, "Hey, we got some tile popping up on the
Hmm.
gym floor." He's like, "Can you fix it?" It's all the way across the half line, half. What is that called? Half the
Oh,
halfway part.
the half court.
Yeah, half court line. Yeah, tile are popping up. I was like, I can fix tile, but I think there's a seam in the concrete
Mm-hmm.
that is causing it to pop up.
Hmm.
And I was like, if you can find a tile layer, I would be more comfortable for a professional to fix that because I'm
Hmm.
a professional floor person. I'm not a layer. I'm
Hmm.
not a professional floor layer.
Yeah.
He's like, and he's been having troubles finding someone to fix it.
Hmm.
And I was just talking to him today. I was like, "Have you got it fixed?" He's like, "No, I still can't find anyone." I was like, "I can probably glue it back down, but I can't guarantee you how long it's going to stick."
Hmm.
So, because I think there's something going on with concrete underneath of it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
That store that I constantly talk about, the 21 years, like I can tell you exactly where the towels are going to come up
yeah,
because they replace them every couple of years, and
uh-huh,
it's because the concrete underneath is damaged, and So instead of just repairing that concrete, they just every 2 years they replace tile, and I keep telling them, I'm like, we're just gonna have to replace them in a couple more years. There's at least 5 or 6 spots in that whole store because it was originally a smaller. It's in a shopping complex. It was originally one unit, and
Oh, okay.
then
Yeah.
about 25 years ago, before I started cleaning it, my uncle was actually cleaning it at the time. So it was earlier than that, like 25 years or so ago. No, it was longer than that. Oh man, because I helped him strip that store in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Is yeah, the year 2000. I helped him strip it. It's one of the first times I'd ever worked with my uncle. Um, so this would have had been 95, I guess. They remodeled. Anyhow, they bought more units in this
Yeah.
shopping center and expanded the store. And so there are these concrete dividing lines
Hmm.
where the units were separate. And every
Yep.
couple of years, we just replace those tiles.
Rather than to fix the concrete and do it right.
Yeah. And it's not hard. It's actually not hard.
Yeah.
You pull up the tiles in question, and usually it's just a crack in the floor, and you just
Uh-huh.
take a hand grinder and smooth it out and put whatever to patch it and smooth it
Yeah.
out one more time and make sure it's clean. Put glue on it. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not complicated, but they don't want to pay me to do it. So
Yeah.
they they use air conditioning people to do it for some reason.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So they put in a work order. Hey, we need tiles, and we need 20 tiles replaced, and then it goes out, and then the same people who work on the air conditioners come in and replace the tile. Yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
So
Wow. The so when you replace tile, how do you remove the tile? I've got a trick to
I
remove
mean
it.
it just depends. Like usually with a blowtorch,
Okay.
I heat them up. I got a little propane torch. I just heat them up and pry them up.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, if
I
we're
actually, in my work trailer, I've got a box for fixing tile, and I
Mhm.
carry two clothes irons with me. So I just
Oh,
heat them up,
set
lay
them
them
on.
on the floor, heat up the tile, and then take a 5-way putty knife and just peel them right up.
Oh yeah, I know that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Hmm.
That's a great idea
Yeah.
if you're especially if you're only doing like one or two.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
I've done like a dozen tiles like that, and you
yeah,
just start with one, scrape it up, and then the next ones come right up because you can
yeah,
stick the putty knife under the edge and then pop them up.
yeah.
So,
A we did a tire shop last year where we converted it from VCT to epoxy,
yeah.
and they had water damage, which is part of the reason why they wanted it done. Like most of their tiles weren't even connected. Like you could walk in and just pick them up.
Uh-huh.
So like I told them they sent me in to strip the floor, and was like, no, no. I just ran the scrubber around, and my little scrubber was like slinging tiles. I was like, no. So I just ran the scrubber around and put a coat of wax on it, and then I sent them a video of me just walking around picking up tiles. And they're like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and replace those." So, but anyhow, when we actually did the official work, we just took a flathead shovel and just started walking in a straight line, and they were flopping up like crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a
And you,
video of it. I'll send it to you. It was pretty funny because we did two shops side by side.
yeah.
That one, and then there was another one that was about 5 minutes away, so we did two. We gave them a discount to do two,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that one, like literally, you can just pick up the tiles. The other one, like I just like they use liquid nail to attach them to the concrete, because it was actually concrete, VCT, LVP. So we actually had to remove 2 layers of floor. The LVP just popped right up. It wasn't a problem at all.
Yeah.
It took probably 45 minutes, and we had all of it up. The VCT was old school VCT, and just I don't know what they used, but it was hard to get up. Whereas the other one came right up.
They probably didn't even strip the VCT before they laid down the LVT.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if they did or if they didn't. I mean, it's been my experience. So that's pretty common with this chain of tire shops that if I'll go into a place and there'll be LVP. that'll be laid right on top of VCT, and they don't glue it down or anything. And I don't think LVP is meant to be glued down. I don't. So that was the impression I got from the flooring installer I spoke with in Carson City, is that you don't glue it down, you just clip it together and walk.
Oh, okay.
So
We've got LVP in our house and we glued it down.
did you?
Yeah. In the
I don't think
grocery
there's any
store.
harm in it, especially in a
Yeah.
house. But
But it didn't click together. It was just butted together.
yeah,
Each thing was just a straight line. So you just butted it together. So
yeah. Hmm.
it was really easy. But hell, we put commercial grade in our house. It's got like a 15-year warranty and stuff. My wife was doing one of the bedrooms and she was sitting in the corner laying the floor and took a screwdriver to it, was trying to stab it and
Yeah,
didn't go anywhere. Can't even stab it with a screwdriver.
yeah.
So the
It's
stuff was like $4 a square foot. It's expensive stuff, but
yeah.
it works good.
They say it's like if you want something that's virtually maintenance free, that's what you want.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I had someone message me recently. I don't. Someone messaged me about LVP. Or
yeah,
no, this guy had a customer that was thinking about stripping their floor or putting LVP down, and he wanted to know how to give them like an educated opinion on what to do. And I'm like, well, that's if you want to be honest with them, they need to go with LVP. Like
yeah.
it's going to be more expensive in the long run, more expensive right now, but cheaper in the
Hmm.
long run.
Yeah,
But you're also going to be talking yourself out of work because the moment they put it down, you're not needed anymore.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so it's kind of like a fine line. And you
Yeah.
know, if you want to be honest with people, that's how it is. Like, and it also depends on what they want. Like some people like to walk in and see the pop and the shine of VCT.
Hmm.
If
Yeah,
it's if you take care of it, it looks really good.
yeah. Our local hospital has LVP in the lobby area,
Hmm.
and it's got little bitty lines in it,
Hmm.
and dirt gets in those holes and stuff. And then they try to scrub it, and they screwed it all up.
Yeah.
So they're,
I think
I
in like
think I'm probably going to clean it up with the CRB. So
I think in hospitals, like the actual rooms and stuff like that,
they still have to have VCT in
I
them.
think they have to have it. I think it's
Hmm.
like an OSHA
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, they have to have it coated and everything. So
Yeah.
because we take care of their floors at the hospital,
Yeah.
waxing and stuff. And have you ever done a hospital?
No, I've never done a hospital.
Pain in the ass.
I've done plenty of doctors' offices,
Yeah,
but never an actual hospital.
pain in the ass.
I could
It's
imagine.
kind of like your Walmart doing 1,000 square feet. That's what we're limited to. It's just a really small area, and like the hallways, you got to do half a hallway at a time. So,
And so
and we've been
you can't have the whole hallway blocked off at once.
no, no.
Like you
So
have to block it off hot dog way, not hamburger way, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
they can so someone can walk
uh-huh,
right past you. Yeah, you know, I
yeah.
gotcha. That's
So we've just been, and we told the lady over maintenance, we're like, hey, let's try it this way. So we've been using SP pad, cleaning
Mhm.
up the hallways up with SP pad, and she's been happy with it. We put 3 coats on,
Yeah,
but we have to do half the hallway, probably 3 foot area, and then do the other half the hallway, and then we wax it half the hallway at a time. And on the 3rd coat, we just go all the way down the hallway and have blower fans, put a really thin coat on to tie it all together. And
yeah, and
she's been happy with it.
just hope
So
for the best that no one needs to emergency get through.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Then the other day,
you have to use electric. You can't run
no,
propane through there either.
no, you got to use electric. And actually, with the SP pad, we're just using the auto scrubber
Yeah,
or Noble's machine, 20-inch Nobles, and then we go behind it with a 175. So we're actually getting it from both directions.
yeah,
We go lengthways down it with auto scrubber and then crossways with a 175.
yeah.
So
No,
it
I
gives
like
a
that.
really, if you use a SP pad and do it both ways,
Mhm.
a cross hatchet, it does a really good job.
Oh
So
no, I love those things. I love those things. That's what I do. If you watch my videos, you'll see me do a lot of
mhm.
cross hatching, and I do it
Yeah,
I do it one way and then I come back and go the other way if I can. Like
Yeah.
most tire shops, I do,
Yeah.
just because they're such small square footage. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you're not gonna catch me doing it on a thirty
Yeah.
thousand square foot grocery store, but
No. The
um, I
SP
like
pads.
those SP pads a lot. They can cover up a lot of imperfections.
Yeah. I like them, except you're not getting that much square footage out of a pad.
No, they
Probably getting like 1,200, 1,500 square feet out of a
yeah,
pad
especially
before
if your
you have to
machine's
flip
heavy.
it. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I thought I had bought I had thought I had bought 16-inch SP pads recently for my tracker.
oh, have you tried that?
Yeah, yeah, I do it all the time.
Oh, you've tried SP pads on your tractor?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
I've never tried it yet.
yeah, I do it all the time.
Okay.
And I just put them on the floor and drop the machine on them. I don't,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't ever, I don't even have pad holders for the tracker anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just use the brushes, and if I want to put black pads, I'll just put them under there and, and sit the brushes on top of them.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with the SP pad. But I thought I got 16-inch, but I guess I didn't. And I guess I got like must have gotten like 17s or something because they over. So
Oh no.
we put them under there, and the
Oh, they
outside edge.
wadded up it.
No, no, no. You get them pretty close. The outside edge is wadded up real quick, and if you
Yeah.
get them out of alignment, yeah, they will wad up or
Uh-huh.
fling off. But for the most part, this is so heavy they don't go nowhere. But in the last video I released, you'll see where I did a concrete floor up in Virginia, and as I started, you'll see me stop, and I forgot I had those pads. They had actually stuck to the brushes, and I forgot they were on there, and they were getting bogged down on that concrete sealer.
Oh
And
my.
yeah, I pulled them
Oh
off there.
my.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that video is a funny one because I had a guy comment. I had a guy comment three few days ago, 3 4 days ago, and he was like, man, if I was you, I wouldn't be using a burnisher to strip a floor. That could really damage the floor and damage the machine. And also, you shouldn't use a scrubber to suck up the leftover wax and stripper. That can just completely damage the machine. Even if you're using a black pad on it, it will rip up tiles like you've never seen before. Like that will make even more tile. And I was like, am I being punked here? And I was like, I told him my exact response was, I will give you 100% of my payout on that. 100%. If you can send me a screenshot of me running a burnisher over that floor.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man, I get it. I'm just saying you shouldn't do it. Like it'd be bad for the floor, bad for the machine.
So was it the
And
tracker you were using?
it was the tracker I was using. And I was like, okay, man, I see what you're saying, but it's actually a tracker. And I sent him a
Yeah.
link to it. I said, it's designed to strip the floor. It's not a burnisher. And he goes,
Is that
he goes, no, I see what you're saying, but I've been doing floors for 30 years, and it's just a bad idea. I said, man, this is designed to strip the floor.
uh-huh, yeah.
And I said, so with your 30 years experience, you watch this video even after I told you it's a tracker, and you still see burnisher.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, nah, I see what you're saying. I'm not trying to change the way you do things. And then David Gentry actually gets on there and says, dude, it is not too late to delete this entire thread. And
I
then I said something back, and then no, then the guy was like, I'm not going to delete anything because I stand by what I said."
yeah.
And then I commented one more time, and I generally don't comment to people who I generally don't to any type of negativity. I usually delete or ignore negativity because I don't believe in being like
Yeah.
that to people. But I commented again, and I said, I see what you're saying. You're not trying to be critical. But number one, that's not a burnisher. That's a tracker.
Uh-huh.
Number two, I use my scrubber to suck up the slurry all day, every day. I would probably say 90% of people do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's partly what they're there for. Just clean them up when you're done. And if you're worried about black pads taking up the tile, which is also incorrect, black pads are not going to rip up tile. If you would look at the floor, it's actually concrete floor, not tile.
Oh,
So like
oh my.
it's like that Luke Skywalker moment. Amazing. Everything you just said was wrong.
I could see him saying about the burnisher with your 20-inch machine that you had for sale.
Yeah.
Did you finally sell that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
He had a
Yeah, I can
guy
see.
had a guy come up no, he actually paid me to bring it to him out in Huntsville, Alabama a couple
Oh,
months ago.
okay. I can see why someone would say because those look like burnishers,
Yeah.
but a tracker, they've got two brushes under it.
I think some people just cannot help themselves, but they have to have an opinion. They just, there are some people out there that just cannot help themselves.
Yeah,
They just have to. And I
yeah,
think that guy was just one of them. I see a lot of things that are done wrong, but it's not my, I see a lot of things out there that I feel like are wrong and I know are wrong. That's not my place to say. Like,
yeah.
if you're trying and you're happier with your results,
Hmm.
it's not my job to tell you how to do it. If you're asking for
Yeah,
advice, I'll tell you.
yeah.
If you post it out there, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, I'm using this, would there be a better way? I might answer. I might say something on that. Like
Hmm.
someone recently actually posted a question about is it necessary to buff the floor after putting wax down? And there was a lot of people that were like, yes, you have to do it after every time. And there were people like, no, you don't have to do it ever. And I did
I remember that
I did comment on that, and it was,
case by
is it
case basis.
is it necessary? No. Does it heat the wax up and harden it quicker? Yes. So like if they're not going to get a lot of floor maintenance in the next year between the next strip, it's probably a good idea.
Mhm.
But if you know you're going to be back in a couple weeks to run a buffer across it, I don't want to worry about it.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
but there are people that just feel compelled that the way they do it is the only way. Like I had one guy that was downright hostile to me. Like at first, he would comment on my videos, and I remembered him because he commented a lot, and it was usually, "Hey man, I like your stuff." Like kind of like that. It was,
Yeah.
and then slowly but surely he became a hater. I don't know why. And someone posted that same question about buffing the floor, and my response was like, I really rarely ever do it. And this guy jumped down my throat in the thread and was like, just just giving me the business. And finally, I was like, his name was Al, and
Yeah.
I was like, look, Al, this isn't an exact science. They didn't ask for an exact answer. They asked for an opinion, and I'm giving you
Yeah.
my opinion. And I've been doing it a long time. Like, I don't see the need in that application, but uh, I ended up having to like block him because he was being posting negative stuff on everything I comment or everything I made after that for some reason.
Okay. She's giving, she's telling me I need to help her. So
Oh.
we need to get off here.
All right, we can do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, I buff the floor after waxing it case by case basis. I don't always buff. Like the hospital, I never buff after I lay wax
Yeah,
just because I don't like electric buffers and I can't get a propane buffer in a hospital. So
yeah. I don't like him either. I don't.
I hate
I
electric
think
buffers.
I think there's two types of people. I think there's the electric buffer people and there's the propane buffer people, and we don't like each other. I think there's a definitive dividing line, and if you're using an electric buffer, you can go to hell.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I have a high amount of contempt for them as well. Like, just, not propane? And if you're
yeah.
using anything other than a Kawasaki, I look at you with even more contempt. I'm almost more contemptuous to the person running a Honda than I am the person running. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
be quiet. Be
I'm like,
quiet there. My tracker has a Honda on it, and I
does
like
it? Does it?
it. So yeah, it's
So I
got a
haven't had
13
any bad
horse.
experiences with Hondas, other than the fact that they're loud and they usually have high compression.
Yeah,
But I'm just a Kawasaki guy, and so I'm like,
yeah. I am
I'll
too.
see, I'll see somebody with a Honda buffer, and I'm like, whatever, get
They
get
don't
out of here, dude.
they don't even make buffers with Hondas on them anymore.
Nope, can't find
No.
one. They're all Kawasaki now.
Yeah. You can actually the edge winder that Aztec has,
Hmm.
it still has a Honda motor on it.
Does it? Okay.
That is the only propane machine I've ever seen still made with a Honda motor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but have you ever had an edge winder?
No, me personally, no. Dad had one for a while.
That is an interesting machine.
But his thing was, I have a 14-year-old kid that can do that.
Yeah. So how'd you like running it?
Uh, so we used it for some remodels that we were doing at the time, and it to me, this was 20 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I was probably 14, 15 when I was running it. And but it hurt my back, like not like hurt my back, but like I was so sore the next day from running it because it was really torquey on my back. But
Yeah.
we only used it probably for
It's an interesting machine.
I think I only used it like maybe 3 or 4 times, and they
Yeah.
he may have used it a few other times without me when they
Yeah.
did some stuff throughout the week and I had school.
Yeah.
Um, but we didn't have it long.
It's an interesting machine. Let's put it that way. I've still
I
got
mean,
one.
if you like
I haven't used it in many years.
most of
So,
what we have, we don't have like gondolas we need to strip under.
yeah.
Like a lot of most of these stores, they utilize kick plates. So,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
nothing's going up under there, which makes things a lot easier. And,
Yeah. So,
um, but
well, I need to get off here. My wife needs a computer. So,
no, that's fine. I can hear my kids up there, and my wife will be home shortly as well. And
okay.
I need to make sure the house isn't destroyed before she shows up. So, well,
All
Matt, man,
right.
I've enjoyed it, and then
Yeah. Enjoyed it too.
this is episode 10. So so there's been 9 other people that are interested in talking.
Sweet.
So we've made it 2 months because
Yeah.
it's been at least 2 months since we did the last one, right?
Oh, really?
Something like that.
So the first one was 2 months ago? Wow.
Um,
I don't know. I can't keep track of time. So,
no, it was a month and a half ago because I
oh,
started putting this together in April, and I think we recorded the first week of May. So it's been not been 2 months. It's been like a
okay.
month and a half.
Cool.
So,
Cool. So,
all right, Matt. Well, we'll do it
okay.
again soon.
All righty. Have a good one, Dustin.
You too, buddy.
See you now.
See ya.